Welcome everyone, this is Piney Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news on LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi,
and Cinders.
Hello.
Hello everyone, and let's begin with the latest build on the Bull Roar, where it looks like this week they put out the cumulative patch notes instead of the incremental, so I'm not exactly sure which stuff is new and which stuff was already there. But overall, this is iteration number 3, and Cordovan said that they are planning an iteration 4 next week, assuming the information. Last two times I repeated something that Cordovan said during his Friday stream, it was way off. So therefore, I'll take that with a grain of salt. But assuming things are right, there's probably going to be at least one more patch before the release.
I would hope so, based on some of the whining that I've heard. The whining that I was reading about the patch notes made me think that hopefully we're going to get another round.
Okay.
At the very least, I kind of hope that they managed to fix the warden animations that I didn't even know were broken, but apparently are really broken on Bull Roar.
Yeah, let me see. I guess I did not notice because I thought I ran a skirmish on my warden. I didn't notice anything, but then I think it's because warden animations have been, in my opinion, slightly broken for the last 5 years, so...
Well, that's what the whining that I read said, that the warden animations have been broken, and now they're even more broken. Or something to that effect.
Okay. Very well. So I guess I'm just so used to having broken animations or wardens that
it probably explains why my warden has been feeling sluggish.
Yeah, wardens always feel a little bit sluggish. Now, there are a few things in here. They do talk about the passive trait for light. I don't know if that was in before or not, or if this is when they finally got around to adding it. And that is, starting at level 116, you get a passive trait with 20 light, then every level after you get another 20 light until level 119 you have 80 light, which is where it peaks off at.
They had mentioned that they were going to try and do that. This is the first we've actually seen numbers for it, though.
Alright, so that's one of the things they added. This is also where they implemented the new loot box scheme.
Which everybody and their brother is whining about.
They are?
Oh, so much whining.
Which side is whining right now?
Everybody. Everybody hates it. If there was one change that they could make to unite the player base that it sucks for the game, this was it. This was the change.
Except they're all giving different reasons that are completely in contrast to the other.
So basically everybody thinks it sucks for different reasons. I personally don't care.
Yes. Well, apparently that they are going to give you, I can't remember whether it was motes or whatever, one of those items you will be getting for the loot box for year 3, and the other one from the gifts that you get at the end of, for the 3rd anniversary, and I think was it the 7th, where's the other one that gives a key?
I don't remember. I know the 3rd anniversary does.
Yeah, 3rd anniversary does, yes.
I still haven't heard what they're planning on doing with the key shards that some of us might or might not have when the update goes live.
I strongly recommend getting it up to a number divisible by 3 and turning them in for keys.
That takes work.
Well, yeah, there is that. But fortunately, you don't have to do that every day. You just do it until you have an even number of keys. And if you weren't planning on doing it anyway, then you would never have to. Then why worry about these key shards that you weren't feeling to finish up in the first place.
That's true.
And the other item in there, it has to do with cosmetic pets that are in loot boxes, because things coming out of loot boxes, due to several other reasons, anything that could be turned into, I think, motes or something like that, cannot be something that is bound, has to be bound to account, cannot be something that is unbound. So therefore, cosmetic pets coming out of loot boxes will be now bound to account.
That's great. Now can they please unbind the festival cosmetics that you bartered for?
One step at a time, Terry.
One step at a time. Did you cut out?
I'm still here.
Oh, okay. Well, when you said "well," I was expecting something to be followed by.
No, I just... I've been saying for the longest time, because they don't bind cosmetic pets that you can barter for. So it makes no sense that they bind cosmetics that you can barter for. Because the pets are the one that's going to make everybody money on the auction house.
Well, there is that. And the other item is, I believe this is where they added the new raid, or did they have the raid before already?
No, the new raid actually still isn't in here.
Oh, okay. The raid's not in there?
No, the raid for update 23 is not in the game. It's not even on Bull Roar.
Ah, okay. That's right.
So,
it was the instances. That's right. The raid is, I guess the raid is
yeah, they've got the, I think there's 2 3-mans and a 6-man.
Oh, that's right. I think that's right. Because I was confused. Yeah, I was getting things confused on the matter. That's right. It was the tier 3 of the 6-man that they said is going to be at the net on a following update. And of course the raid also. Okay. I forget these little things.
Keep up, Pine Leaf. But apparently the 6-man is the dragon.
That would be awesome.
The 6th player is the dragon. Which dragon?
I don't want to spoil, but if you've done the Lay of Rust and Rhyme, you know which dragon.
Okay, I just want to know what it was, if it was the one that we faced in Rust and Rhyme, or a different dragon that is mentioned in Rust and Rhyme.
It's the one that we faced.
In which case, I think the raid is going to be the other dragon.
The other dragon, probably, yeah. That would make sense.
Because what's nastier than a big dragon?
The big dragon's mama.
Yeah, the big dragon's mama. That's
there was something I noticed in the patch notes that I had not seen before. Let me see if I can find what it was. And hang on, I know it was in here. Oh, champion skill animation delays have been fixed. Is actually in patch notes.
Apparently what they did is they took the delays in the champion animations and gave them to the wardens.
I'm completely okay with this change. Not gonna lie.
All right, I guess anything else?
But I didn't get on the test, so I don't know if it's actually fixed it or if they're just saying it's fixed.
Well, assuming that there is another build next week, I guess we'll find out then.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get to test it.
So I'm kind of bummed, though, that the Lore Master pet morale is being adjusted, because that means that my bear can never be as awesome as Lucky with 300,000 morale.
You just have to work on it before the update hits. That's all.
Yeah, I will definitely have to do that. Bear boot camp.
They said the morale pools are lower, but they should have the same level of survivability as before.
Well, that's because morale pools are supposed to be lower
for everything, right?
Oh, okay.
At the higher end, they're supposed to be lower, and at the lower end, they're supposed to be higher. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I think that's a good way of putting that.
And I heard that stealth comment around this bear boot camp. That was awesome. Although that sounds more like something to beef up your OP furballs even more.
Let's go and head into the beacon, where at the top we see some hobbits dancing. But the highlight for the community spotlight this week are related to dwarves, because the Hornhanger games are next week, and you could find a full schedule at the link, which is going to tell you everything that you need to know, when it is, what day. It's September 24th through the 30th.
Yeah, it starts Monday.
And this is on the Laurelland server, so therefore things are going to be most convenient for Europe time, but it will be streamed, and the LOTRO streams do get sent to YouTube afterwards.
I think I asked this last year around this same time, but for people who are maybe listening and don't know what the Hornhanger games are, could you maybe explain what they are again?
Think of it as the Olympics run by dwarves.
That's an apt description, actually. That's pretty much what it is.
Yep, so every day there are a couple of events. For example, on Monday, the 24th, you have an opening ceremonies at 2 o'clock, then at 2:35, I guess they're continuing with them. At 2:45, they have their first race at Thorns Hall. And then they have the spike jump, which I'm not exactly sure how they score the spike jump, but there's this cave where you quest in, one of the early quests where you have it in, and there is this spike in there. You're supposed to, I believe, jump onto the spike or jump off the spike. I can't remember what exactly you're supposed to do on that thing. I guess I'll have to watch again this year to find out what it is. And you're supposed to jump off of it and do it gracefully, I guess. I can't remember how it's scored, because it's hard to... Anything that involves jumping, if it's not a timed race or anything like this, someone's got to say, okay, who had the best jump?
Well, I caught the event called the Drunken Keg Race last year, and it was amazing.
Yes, the Shire Drunken Merchant Race. There is one at Nickeldoving at the Madam House on Friday, September 28th. And that'll be at 2:30 p.m. Now, a lot of these things are around 2 to 2:30 p.m. because that's around 7:30 over in the UK, which is a nice, perfect time for them. Very bad time if you live in the United States, unless you happen to be off that day. And then it all finishes up with a fence run in Staddle and a music event at the Breeland Festival ground stage. And then, of course, they have your awards after that and a nice closing concert. So, therefore, that is from Monday through Sunday for the last week of September. And it's probably already started if you're not listening to this live and instead are listening to the podcast version. Then you could join the Hope on September 29th on Langeville in Brie for a concert. And since that's in Langeville, the Harnkinger game should already be... Actually, no, because that's Saturday, so they might be doing that in the afternoon, right? Let me see what time that's supposed to be. That is September 29th, Scholars Walk at 1 p.m. Actually, strangely enough, they're actually holding that before the Harnkinger Games for.
Well, there you go.
Right, let me double check on the Saturday event. Yeah, because the Broken Bone Race is at 2:30 in Thorns Hall. Does that mean you have to jump off something that is going to give you a crunchy?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. And Priscilla Woodbury wrote a lecture about Ronald Dwell during the Bard's Day celebration, and you could read it at the link. And if you missed the Purple Pipeweed Parlor Band at Oaks last week, you can watch their performance at the link. And Talking Tolkien continues their series following the journey of Frodo Baggins with Part 6. And there is a link that you can watch for that. For our kin haul this week, the Feathered Hat Society is recruiting. They are rank 10 kin on Crick Hollow with all kinship benefits and associated Discord server and website. Their kin leader is Agent Brigman, a Twitch streamer who streams on the official LOTRO stream channel. If you're interested in joining their kin and Agent Brigman streams, then please send in a game message to Bossatron, Boss Midge, Boss Bjorn, Gumsgang, or Cora Goodbarrel. Oh, Cora Goodbarrel.
Cora Goodbarrel.
Oh.
Cora Goodbarrel. It's not that hard, Pineapple.
Oh, well. Well, after all those bosses in Gumsgang, I thought, whoa. In order to get a quicker response, you could also send a private message on Discord to Bossatron #1721.
And all of that's in the beacon, so if you need proper spelling, it's all there.
Yes, all this. Remember that? Yeah, I'm still in the beacon section here. And our weekly comment is, what would you consider your biggest accomplishment in LOTRO?
Skirmisher of Middle-earth. Which I know Pine Leaf doesn't think is a huge accomplishment because he's done it like a zillion times, but I did it once.
Well, my doing it for every single class was
craziness.
So for me, doing them all for every class would be the accomplishment. Yes. But yeah, I can understand. Yes,
it's craziness.
It takes a lot to do. Yes. How about you, Cinders?
For me, it's probably doing on-level skirmishes on my own.
Oh, yeah.
Taking my champion in to do level 40-something skirmishes at level 40-something when I hadn't really been playing her, that was quite frightening.
Oh, yeah, it would be because...
Well, and typically, if I'm going to be skirmishing, I'm either skirmishing with a character that is way over level, or I'm skirmishing with either you or Sanswinda or Terry, or a combination thereof. So I don't need to know anything other than I just have to show up and follow directions. Which is a skirmish. That's the way to skirmish. If you're going to skirmish, pick one of them. But trying to do it on my own, that was really quite terrifying. I survived, but I would think that would be my biggest accomplishment.
Well, especially doing it at level 40-something, since that's... I don't know what it's going to be like after the update, but prior to the update, the level 40-something is one of the toughest levels at skirmishing. The only other bump that's anywhere near it that I've noticed is 106.
Yeah, I think it was like level 43, and
Yeah.
I made the mistake of doing it in blue line without realizing I was doing it in blue line, and it took forever, and
Yeah.
and two, I had picked one of the offensive ones so I could go at my own pace, and I think that was probably really the only reason I survived, because I could stop and wait till I had full health before I continued on.
What class were you?
A champion.
Ooh, solo skirmish with a champion in blue line.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that
Red
could be a
line was a
problem.
much better choice.
What kind of soldier were you running with if you had to wait for healing?
Well, I had an herbalist. I think it was an herbalist.
Who wasn't
Blue
doing
line?
I
anything.
don't think their training was up
Pretty
to
good.
snuff. So,
A blue line champ, I would think, shouldn't be taking that much damage, and with the help of an herbalist, boy, she wasn't doing her work.
well, and I was managing to pull, 5 to 6 mobs at a time on accident.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's actually really easy to do in blue line if you don't have competition for the aggro. Yeah.
Yeah, I would go for one thing and then 4 other things would come running with it. And
Because the way you generate aggro as a blue line champion is to have everything hit you in the face. So the more stuff that's hitting you in the face, the more they want to hit you in the face.
yes, and you know what? I got hit in the face a lot. Because I picked is it Attack at Dawn or something like that?
Oh, ouch. That's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of, I had some, Deathmongers and things like that, too. Yeah, and then Sanswinda laughed at me when I told her what had happened.
Okay.
Yeah, she laughed, but that's my biggest accomplishment, and I didn't quit then. I did it again, but I changed to red line or yellow line. One of the two. I switched to something else.
Rode through everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just plowed through in Trouble in Tuckborough.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Trouble in Tuckborough is a little bit easy. Doing either Tuckborough or Thievery and Mischief might have been a better idea than...
Yeah. And I
Take it
did Trouble in Tuckborough and Storm on Methedras after that, and was like, okay, that's better. At least I can kill stuff now. Quickly.
Oh. Then let's head to the fan site news, and they have a new streamer. Be bold, be wary. What?
Pine Leaf.
You skipped Arindis. And you didn't tell us what your biggest accomplishment is. Oh, yes, you did. Never mind. Sorry. I wasn't listening closely.
All right. Okay, so therefore, no one bothered telling me that Arandis was here.
Sorry, I snuck in.
Aha!
You didn't lock the door.
You should pay more attention to the Discord chat server thing.
She talked a couple times, too.
Yeah, she did. I even acknowledged her by name at one point.
How much?
Pine Leaf's paying so much attention right now.
He is so dedicated to his
On the
job.
plus side, I'm not the only one who wasn't being a good listener.
No worries, guys.
That's the problem. Is I was.
I was so busy emceeing. No worries, finally.
All right, Arandis, what is your greatest, biggest accomplishment?
Oh gosh. I think mine would have to be testing out the Bull Roar server for the first time and jumping off of the prow in Minas Tirith and running around Mediceld and stuff like that. Because I'm still under leveled for those areas, it was really fun to just be able to kind of run around in places that I haven't been able to see before. So maybe not so much an accomplishment, but that was something really fun that I was able to do that I enjoyed. So there you go.
Now we can head to the fan site news.
Yes, finally go right ahead.
And you watch the latest streamer, Be Bold, Be Wary, with Apulu Felgar. And Andang finally finished Book 4, The Black Book of Mordor.
Yay! It's only taken him how long?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, they're almost coming to the update after the next update for him because he still needs to get to the North Kingdoms.
Well, what's funny is I talked to him on stream just a couple weeks ago, and he records the videos in advance, obviously, so he can do some editing and things. But he really only just finished Mordor not that long ago. And I felt a great sense of satisfaction that I finished it before he did. Like, not just for video releases, for realsies, I finished Mordor before he did. And The Northern Stronghold. And I was only like 2 chapters away from Leia, Rust, and Rhyme, so.
Yeah. Because
I felt very accomplished.
Yeah, I think he used to be ahead of you, so.
Yes.
And Fibro Jedi headed to Trestle Bridge in the North Downs with his Hobbit Warden. And Gamelia Dan completed part 137 of his LOTRO Let's Play series, Fernder the Virulent. And Gussie Moose and Middle-earth quested in Mordor. And in the news, you could celebrate Baggins's birthday from September 21st through the 25th. So you could go to Rivendell in order to pick up the traditional Baggins quest, and I believe there is also something waiting somewhere near Lake Town, if I believe right.
That's what the rumor says.
Yes.
I haven't found it yet, though.
You haven't found it yet.
No, I paused to do this instead.
Cinder's Rumor Hunter.
That should really be a title, if it isn't already.
It should be.
I want that title. That would be a title I would work for.
Rumor Hunter or Rumor Monger?
Rumor Hunter.
I say Hunter.
Yes. And you could also watch the latest episode of Court of the Rings, where Cordovan tries to say, perhaps his wording was easy to misinterpret when he was talking about the class thing last week. He says, no, there aren't any serious plans for a new class at this time.
I know. Everybody's all wigged out about new class, and it's like not really in planning stages. It's something they're throwing. Like, they have a whiteboard somewhere of things that they would eventually like to do with the game, and so that is like on the whiteboard for sometime in distant future.
Yes. So therefore there were a few places which it got out of hand. Now I went a little bit probably slightly out of hand last week, but I heard that some places even got worse. Like I believe that one site said LOTRO announces new class or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So, therefore, yes. And he said, Cordovan then said, please take anything he says during Friday noon with a little bit of grain of salt.
Translation, a lot of grain of salt.
Yes. And you could read about the binding status changes for some cosmetic pets in U23. There is a note on that Cordovan posted.
Not gonna lie, I am a fan of being able to ash the frogs and the snakes and the things like that.
Okay.
I think that's going to be really helpful.
All right. And our screenshot of the week is Small Life posted this week's screenshot with some chickens and a couple of hobbits.
And a hobbit that's in a desperate need of a makeover. There, I said it.
The left one or the right one?
The one with the obnoxious green shoulder piece that I hate.
So the one on the right. It looks like
that
there's a
would be
chicken sitting on his head, too.
Yes, he does have the chicken hat.
That's a cool one.
Chicken hat?
Yeah, it's a Hobnanigans thing you can barter for.
Ah, okay.
Can. I said can, not
Acquire,
should.
doing
It works for the
hobnanigans.
picture, though.
Can be acquired, not Terry fashion choice.
Not Terry fashion choice. And I suspect that Hobnanigans is not a Terry pastime choice either.
No, I actually have the Hobnanigans quest filtered out.
Well, there is that.
I think it would be fun to do sometime with a group of people that I knew, but I'm not sure how I would feel about doing it with tons of people I didn't know.
We did
I think
it
that'd
with
be
girls
frustrating.
1 week, and it did not go well.
Ooh,
Uh-oh.
I'm sorry. I think I was gone that week.
Okay,
Or it was
it
before
went-
my time.
It went about as well as girls typically goes, so
It was hurting cats,
Just leave it at
but
that.
worse.
yeah, I'll just leave that comment right there.
So I have a question about that picture.
Yeah.
Is it in game or is it in the housing area?
It is in game, I think.
I was wondering the same thing. It looks like a house.
No, it might be the housing area because somebody's got that mushroom tent as a huge yard piece.
Yeah.
So it's kinship housing lot.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So, I'm looking at...
Somebody really hates their neighbors.
Because we got this chicken coop back
put that-
there, and you...
Yeah, to put that on your house, on your kinship's housing lot, you really hate your neighbors.
Or just really like chickens.
Well, they may have all the members of the kinship may have gotten personal houses in the same area because they're all a fan of the theme.
That's also true.
Well, it made it a lot easier because everybody else sold their house afterwards.
That would make sense. I know Sanswinda has done that where she'll buy the kinship house and then she'll buy the personal house like right next to it.
Well, it's one way to make sure that you know who your neighbors are and you don't have to worry about offensive decorations all over their lawns.
Very true.
And that also helps when some kins who have special events that are in housing neighborhoods. For example, I remember one time I attended a mystery event, and the various houses in the neighborhood were hosting various parts of the mystery. So therefore, the fact that members, I presume that was members of a kin who owned various houses in the neighborhood, which enabled it to happen, because otherwise they would have had a pretty good, close-knit together neighborhood if they just did it and were just neighbors and not a particular... But I believe it was hosted by a kinship. It was centered at a kin house, so I presume they're all members of the same kin.
That would make sense. That's kind of a cool idea, though.
And that's it for the beacon. So let's find out what's on sale, Terry.
Well, the only really good thing on sale is the Mordor expansion is 20% off in the LOTRO store, September 21st through the 30th. So that's pretty awesome because it's the first time it's actually had a discount. And then the weekly coupon gets you Skill and Slayer D ×1 with coupon code Skill and Slay, because you can never have enough of those. And then 20% off the Gift of the Valor and Blessing of the Valor, Third Age Item Trove, and Legacy Scroll Box.
All right. LOTRO Players News this week is brought to us by the Hornkanger Games, the premier games that's put on by the Dwarves of Thorns Hall.
Durin's Folk. I think that's actually the name of the kinship is Durin's Folk.
The name of the kin is Thorns. Okay, I was
99% sure that the name of the kin that is in charge of that is Durin's Folk.
I guess that is an appropriate name. Then let's look at 99 instances again from Squirrely Skirmishes of the Underground. All right. I could see how Defenses of Moria, those 3 skirmishes, qualify as skirmishes of the Underground, but Storming Methedras? That doesn't sound very underground. Now, Rescue at Nerves Gashu, yes, that's very definitely underground. Storming Methedras is on top of a mountain. Oh, we'll also include Storming Methedras in here as another epic story instance skirmish. That's not Mirkwood.
That's not Mirkwood.
Well, it's not technically an epic story instance.
It's not, but it's sort of loosely tied to it.
Well, it's more tied to the to a side quest, or to a side quest chain that's
that
in the
you
area.
run into if you're running the epic story.
Well, yeah, I guess you
But
do.
because of the timing when you get that skirmish, it ends up being weird because a lot of people don't realize that it's related to the skirmish.
Yeah, that's because you unlock the skirmish at level 20. Then we also have Critters Journey number 68. No Great Plague or Plague or Plaque by George. No Great Plague or Plaque by George. Boy. And Squirrel's been busy this week.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But making fun of Lyrath is fun. And there's a great shot of Fingar in there, too.
Yeah, all the screenshots in this article are great.
Well, we are talking about Squirrel.
Hey, give credit where credit's due,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, that's... So they're going after a real... Yeah, so the Critters are going after some really big opposition this week.
Some really, really big opposition, because Fingar.
Yeah, Thingar, that just... Each of the Critters are just snacks to him.
Well, yeah, George is a snack to pretty much everything in Middle-earth. He's a chicken.
Well, there is that.
So just read the article and figure out what's going on, you know?
Yep. So, what's the purpose? Oh, sorry. Arandis, what is this week's new player question?
Well, actually, this week's new player question comes from Cinders.
And what I'm wondering is, what is the purpose of farming and using pipeweed?
Once upon a time, when the game was new-ish, because I don't remember if crafting actually started with the game or if it was introduced later, but somebody had the brilliant idea that people should be able to farm/create usable things that they could integrate with skills, and but they couldn't just have one type of pipeweed, even though only one type of pipeweed is useful for the skill. No, you gotta have these different varieties of pipeweed. So there are different varieties of pipeweed, but one of them used to actually relate to the Lore Master skill of bringing people back from the dead. So the Lore Master skill of bringing people back to the dead is smoking a pipe. You used to actually have to have the pipeweed in your bag and
What?
smoke it. Yeah. Well, once upon a time, back when travel rations were a thing, also. So really long time ago. That is no longer the case, but it's still something you can do, and a lot of role players use it for role playing reasons. Because that's the extent of my knowledge. Because role players are weird.
I heard a rumor it might have different effects when you use the different kinds.
Some of them have different smoke rings.
Okay.
I don't remember what all of the different smoke rings are, but if you're curious, you can farm up all of the different types of pipeweed and just try smoking some and see what happens.
I may have been considering doing that, actually.
I have a stash. I'll loan you some.
If you do, can you report back and let us know how?
Yeah, for sure.
Because my well-known burglar minstrel, Sarissa, is also a farmer cook. Because, what else are you going to do with your burglar? Especially when she was little and couldn't really do much because everybody else in the fellowship would kill stuff before she could get near enough to even pick its pockets. So she experimented with the whole cooking and farming thing, and she farmed up a whole bunch of pipeweed, and I'm pretty sure I've grown every type of pipeweed in the game.
Nice.
And it's stored in her vault somewhere. Except for Shire Sweetleaf, which one of my lore masters is carrying around for reasons.
Huh. Okay.
Then let's head into our weekend LOTRO and Cinders. What have you been up to?
Well, I know I was up to more than what I can actually remember that I did. But what I can remember, my Crick Hollow captain helped heal a level 21 Runekeeper and an OP Furball through some very unwise choices that they made in the Barrow Downs. I also managed to use my healing skills to their max that during those 40 minutes. However, you can still use them, thankfully, after that. I also got to experience the Baggins' birthday quest for the first time. I really enjoyed the stories with the traditional one that I guess has been done for a while. And then I'm looking forward to doing the one in the Northern Strongholds and going and hunting for it.
And be happy that they're all up now at the same time rather than cycling. Which ones are active?
Oh,
yeah, that's what San Swinda told me. And
that was the thing.
Yeah.
I should go do those now.
Yeah, so, but that would explain why I didn't do it last year at this time, because there's no way I would have been able to do that and still work. Because San said her first time doing it, it took her the entire time to do it because she had to check in every hour to see which ones were up.
Yeah.
And it was just really time consuming. But no, they're all up now. I've done it twice, and they're all up.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. But those are fun stories.
They are extremely fun stories. I actually took screenshots last year when I was going around and collecting them because I wanted to share them with my mother, and I knew there was no way I was going to get her to run around doing that quest.
Yeah. So, yeah, I read them all the first time I did it, and then the second time I just kind of clicked through because I wasn't sure if I needed to do that before I could do the ones in the Northern Strongholds. I do not believe the two are connected, other than the fact that it has to do with the Bagginses. But, I don't know. Arendis, how was your week?
My week was actually pretty good. I've not been able to play the game because I've been out of town, and then my computer kind of quit on me, but I got a new computer this week, so I can play the game again. I just need to download it again first.
And then patch it.
And that might take a little while, so...
The downloading is easy. It's the patching that's going to take you 5 years.
Exactly. I was able to get through about halfway, and then I had to put the computer to sleep for reasons, and so it shut the update down for some reason, so I have to start it over again. So it'll take some time, but we'll get there. And other than that, I was able to work through a couple of details on a super secret project I'm working on. Hopefully more information will come soon, but that's all I can say right now. So, Terry, did you want to go next, or is it Pineleaf's turn?
It's actually Pineleaf, because I had real life stuff and I didn't play this week. I feel really bad.
Gosh, I just wanted to make sure we didn't skip you. Pineleaf, what did you do this week?
We will begin with my burglar on Crick Hollow, where I was in the Redhorn Lodes, and I was doing the quest where you're supposed to go against those fungal spiders that are near the foundations of stone. And as I was doing them, I completed Enmity of the Spiders. Level 57 Burglar, and I just finished Enmity of the Spiders.
The first one?
Yes.
Oh. How?
I don't know how
I
I
make it to Mario without killing enough spiders for that first enmity.
I have no idea.
That tea.
Well, hey, if you avoid the spiders, then you can't kill them. Maybe that's a thing.
Well, then I somehow managed to... Yep, it could be because this character was originally created for doing Bingo Boffin. And so, therefore, I probably didn't quest in too many locations that had many spiders, because I don't think Bingo Boffin goes into many spider-infested locations.
That's so weird.
Yeah. But anyway, when I discovered that I was getting close to finish it just as they're going there, because I was like, okay, just out of curiosity, how close am I to Enmity of the Spiders? I said, okay, I haven't finished part 1 yet. Oh. I popped on a Slayer boost and just ripped, and I managed to complete Enmity of the Spiders 1, and I think I might have 50 or 70 left for Enmity 2, because I got through half of Enmity 2 also. I'm hoping that when I go against the glass spiders up near the glass spiders that are near the plaques
In the waterworks?
in the waterworks, when I go and do that quest, I'm hoping that maybe I could kill lots of spiders there and maybe finish off Enmity 2 and finally get my port to the Shire. And then, on my level 21 Runekeeper, I was getting ready to sell some Barrow Brie, and somehow I forgot. I think there are some slight differences between how LOTRO and DDO works on this thing, so I think I did what you do in DDO instead of what you do in LOTRO, and instead it said, oh, you want to eat this Barrow Brie? No problem.
Ooh, famous last words.
It was really funny.
It was,
He was so shocked.
all right. It took me a couple minutes before I started saying, maybe I better do something about this. So now I'm starting to heal myself. Then at one point, then of course we have Cinders and Sands also healing me. So we're going through and there's. So I was starting to go. Now I'm a Runekeeper, and I was in Yellow Line, and it's because in Yellow Line, you have only one usable heal skill unless you're in combat, because all the rest
you can't build up the attunement.
Right, because you can't build up the attunement. So what I wound up doing eventually is that while I was at full temporarily, I went into my traits, and I had 2 trait points free, and one of the easiest access tier 1 traits in the healing line is another heal skill that you can use. So I had that heal skill, and there was a third heal skill I could use occasionally, because I had just enough time that if I did this and I did both of those heal skills, then it would leave open the one that gives you the bubble. So therefore I was able to throw in a bubble on occasion. And apparently, yes, this bubble does protect against Barrow Brie, despite the fact that the bubble's showing on the outside.
So it protects you from your own accidental stupidity.
Yes.
To an extent. I don't recommend trying it independently, though, without anybody else around to heal you.
Yeah, especially if you're level 21.
Yeah. And Sanswin and I, we started healing him as soon as he hollered, but we were like, oh, he's just selling stuff. Totally safe. He doesn't have any Barrow Brie. He would have told us if he had Barrow Brie.
Oops.
And then all of a sudden he's yelling because his health is going down. We're like, oh, you had Barrow Brie. Hey, you had Barrow Brie.
Yes. So I survived that, and Sans decided then, who also had some Barrow Brie that she didn't realize that she had some. She went and decided, all right, I think she chose to eat that voluntarily.
Yes, she did. She chose to eat it voluntarily, and then we had to spend the next 20 minutes in combat so that she could use her OP Bear healing skill.
Yes. Right. So, yeah, we were going all around the southern Barrow Downs killing stuff while on Barrow Brie and trying to heal ourselves so as to counteract it.
And I think we almost abandoned Pineleaf a couple times trying to keep up with Sans, because Pineleaf was switching over into a more healing line from his lightning line. And where'd you go?
Yeah. And of course, because the Runekeeper isn't exactly mobile when attempting to heal.
No.
Oh.
And Sans knows this.
Well, and Sans, though, still thinks like a hunter. So she is just, like, cruising around trying to just kill as many things as possible to keep her wrath up, or whatever it is. And I was just trying to keep up with her. I was like, forget even trying to kill things. I'm just going to try and heal her. But, yeah, the captain is definitely mobile. I did threaten to not heal her, too. She's over here. So, I mean, you threatened to not heal me. I did heal her.
Tell her she's not supposed to run away from the healer.
Yeah, that was the... Oh, yes, that reminded me of the field trip, where in the field trip, where I was with Sans and Finn, we ran some skirmishes, and one of them we decided to run was Survival Barrow Downs.
How did that go?
Well, we survived 25 minutes, which isn't too bad.
Isn't like the limit 30? Like the top?
No, 30 minutes is when you plateau and you've reached a maximum number of monsters, so that after that you only replace existing monsters rather than adding new monsters.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it continues on now for that. And it's also where most of the deeds end 30 minutes. The deeds tend to end at 30 minutes, a lot of them, on the challenges there. And the dailies awards are also at the 30-minute points. But you do have the regular awards that continue to go along up to an hour. So we ran that. We lasted 35. Now, one of the things was a lot of trouble when we got to hit the fellowship maneuvers, because I was trying to get them to hit blue during the fellowship maneuvers when we started running out of power, but apparently the fellowship maneuvers were very hard to coordinate because they were usually fighting something else. What?
It's like herding cats.
Yeah, it's like herding cats, and it's also like trying to figure out, okay, where is this on the screen? Oh, that's right, because Sanswinda was seeing a slideshow.
Oh, well, that does make things a little bit challenging.
Yeah, that's right. She was seeing a slideshow, that was getting worse as things went along there. So I have a feeling that by the time she saw that there was a Fellowship mover, it was already finished.
That would make sense.
Yeah. And finally, my warden reached level 11 while completing the Bilbo Baggins birthday quest.
Nice.
I mean, I couldn't find a more fitting way to hit level 11 than that.
Nice.
It was strange because I was doing the quest, and it was when I was getting near the end of it where I saw, wait a minute. At this rate, when I talked to Bilbo to close out the quest. Yep.
Now I gotta ask, was that planned?
No, I just happened to... I didn't even think of it. I was just trying to think of something to do while I was waiting for Sans to come online. So therefore I thought, okay, let's do the birthday quest and going around there. Now, since I was waiting for Sans to come online and all that stuff, I wasn't reading the stories thoroughly as I think I should. I probably should go and do it on another character, and so I could read the stories through this time. I know I read them in the past, but of course I've probably forgotten half of them long ago.
Some of them were actually pretty close to accurate.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is some of them are completely wild, some of them are close to accurate, and some of them have a grain of truth in there.
And one of them totally explains the whole Yule Festival thing.
Yeah. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. And yes, Draculetta is still trying to put together the updated rewards, which we will announce as soon as he has finished it. I thought he'd be finished by now, but he has been busy. If you'd like to send us something, you send to the podcast at LOTROPlayers.com, and you can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance at Players Ally, LOTRO Players at LOTRO Players, Arendis at Arendis, Pine Leaf at Pine Leaf Needles, Sandwinda at Sandwinda, and Terry Edwin at Terry Edwin, and you could follow Cinders at Emeraldina. The Players Alliance has two shows. Every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. And every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And you can join us for our live shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight. And this is Polyp Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.